We are snowed in today. So let's kick it. Let's play around a little bit. Let's have a little conversation. No stress, no stress. We're just going to get in and give our perspectives. So let's get it. What's good, everybody? How y'all doing today? Welcome to the Den. Welcome to the Den. This is your host, Aaron EBM. How y'all guys doing today? It is a warm and toasty 15 degrees Fahrenheit outside. So we got some snow, and I decided not to go into work, stay home, get some work done here on YouTube, get some digital work done, have some fun with you guys, see what you guys are doing, because I need to do this a little bit more. I shied away from doing live streams. I really didn't want to do live streams. I felt like it's one of those niche things. Unless you have a pretty big audience or you have a lot of people around you, it's just, it's kind of just like talking to yourself. But it's just like YouTube. YouTube starts off the same way. You kind of get weirded out talking to the camera by yourself. And so I just decided not to do it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm challenging myself to do more. So like I said, it's a winter storm that came through yesterday, and I went into work yesterday, but it snowed all day long. And about time it was time for me to go home, I looked out and said, you know what? I'm gonna take my laptop home and just tell them I got snowed in, whether I can make it to work or not. So that's what we're doing. I might go out there and clean up, shovel some snow later on, but get it away from under the car so I can get out when it's time for me to go to work. But right now I'm just chilling. I'm just chilling. I am just chilling. So let's go ahead and start it. I don't want to mess around too long. Let's go ahead and start it. A lot of people were talking about Nicki Minaj yesterday and Kevin Samuels, because hey, regardless if you love him, you hate him, or you're in between, he is doing the damn thing. He is doing a lot. He is making moves, he is making headway, and one could say he is pretty much mainstream. And I give it up to the brother. I am not on the Kevin Samuels defense force, so some things I don't say a problem with, but I do see some of his contradictions, and that's cool. But which one of your superstars is perfect? Which one of the superstars haven't done or is currently doing something that is not smart at this very moment? As I speak here on YouTube, I feel like a lot of times in society, and then in our group as well, we focus in on the wrong things. Why are we worried about if someone contradicts themselves, which they do? You can always call them out. But is that stopping that person's traction? Is that stopping him from doing what he wants to do? Or is it stopping him from carving out his legacy, carving out his very own spot in media? No, it's not. So, as I've been floating around in the clouds, I've seen a lot of people, mainly women say that Kevin Samuels just didn't give Nicki Minaj the same smoke. Didn't give her the same smoke as he gave us women, as he gives the regular women. Why is that, Mr. Samuels? Why is that? Why didn't you give Nicki Minaj the same smoke that you give us regular old, poor old, defenseless women? Why didn't you give us the smoke? I mean, why didn't you give her the smoke like you gave us? And if you go and watch the video. If you haven't watched the video, go to Kevin Samuels' page and watch the video. He pretty much done the same thing he did with Brittany Renner, and he caught a lot of flack. He caught a lot of flack from the guys in brown YouTube, as I call it. You got to watch out what words you say when you're on these lives, but He caught a lot of flack from the brothers on Brown YouTube for the very much the same reason that a lot of women are giving him flack for in Brown YouTube today, is that he didn't give Brittany Renner the business. He didn't give it to her like we wanted him to give it to her. You know, a lot of these guys want to see women get beat, want to get beat over the head, and that's cool because some of them do need to get beat over the head, not literally, but figuratively. But you know, Kevin is beyond that. Kevin is not he is not a ignorant person. And what would the point be, or what could he gain out of arguing with Nicki Minaj? And what would it do? If you really go back and study that video, if you study that 18-minute video, you can tell that Nicki really didn't come to the conversation in good faith. You can tell by the words she was saying when she came in that she, you know, was worried about, oh, you're beating on black women. You know, she came with the same information like a lot of people come with. You know, he's a woman hater and he just hates black women. So I want to come here and be the black woman Avengers and take back black women's dignity and integrity from Kevin Samuels, because he snatched out all women's dignity, right? That's what a lot of these women act like. You act like he snatched out your dignity. But that's what she was doing. And you can tell that she didn't come into the conversation with good faith, and she wanted an argument. But I think she was pleasantly surprised by Kevin Samuels, which most people are when they talk to him, or if you come to him with any kind of sense. But she played her hand in that conversation, I believe, because yeah, she called out women and said that women needed to stop worrying about, you know, arguing with black men and saying, and asking the questions, why don't successful black men want us, and just for black women to work on themselves, for black women to work on themselves. And when they work on themselves and they become successful, they can go pick a brother off the, I'm just gonna say it, go pick a brother off the nigga tree. They think they can just go pick a woman off, get successful and pick a woman, pick a man off that tree. And that's the same modern woman rhetoric. You can go be a boss, and then at any time and any moment you can just go pick any guy that you want to pick, and that's that. But yes, you do have a play in the role. Yes, you do decide if you want to ultimately be with a man, but you just don't go choose any man that you want, right? Nobody just goes and decides to, hey, this is who I want, and you're going to be with me because I'm a boss. That's not how that works. And that's a little disingenuous, and that's a lot of the dangerous things that you hear from a lot of these women out here, especially either women that are in the entertainment industry or successful business women. They all think with that same logic. And if that were true, would Nicki Minaj really pick the man that she picked today? If you have the access to the cream of the crop, how do you end up with a man like what Nicki Minaj has? So that's to me, that's the gist of, that's what all I really got out of it. It was a win for Mr. Samuels. It was a win for Mr. Samuels because her fan base is a lot bigger than his. So it just gave him more media attention. And what was the point of arguing with a woman over what they decided to score themselves in the sexual marketplace? What was the point of arguing with a person if they have a bigger platform than you? It's just not business smart. It's just not uh, indicative of a person who has business acumen. And I give it up to the brother, and I give it up to anybody else that uses their brains like he does. So that's what that is. Let's see what's going on. Oh man, just it's craziness. No, it is Black History Month, guys. So respect your Black history. Don't be a person that just gives up on Black history. I know a lot of guys out there, and women as well, depending on what space they're in, just decide not to really partake in Black history, and just really, really. decide to just not really take it seriously. Should always take it seriously. So do your research, do your studying, the good and the bad. Don't sit and just look at Black history like as Martin Luther King, George Washington Carver, all of those people that's have been told to you over and over again in school. Really take your time to dive deep. Look at the good and the bad. Learn something new. I challenge everybody to learn something new. I didn't know until last year that the Super Soaker was made by a Black inventor named Lonnie Johnson. I didn't know that. But you wouldn't have known that because he never put himself in there. He never put himself in the forefront to be shown as the creator of a multi-million dollar selling toy. And why? Because a lot of times when we figure out that one of us has done something big or we have made something big, we don't take it seriously. You know, and if I'm lying, I'm flying. We don't take it seriously. We don't give our people the same amount of respect that we give others. And so I don't blame him for not telling everyone that he was the creator of the Super Soaker. Let's see. Let's see. So I have been going around in the clouds in YouTube, looking at other creators, looking at some of the things that have been going on, trying to soak up some information, which I think we all should. We should all soak up information to try to, to try to learn, especially if you are a creator. Don't don't watch too many or too much of the same creator, the same content creator. Try not to watch too much of the same content creator, because what begins to happen when you do that is you begin to be like that person. You begin to soak up too much of that one content creator, and you begin not to be natural. You begin not to be yourself. So just peek in, and that's what I was doing. I was peeking in. So when I started looking around and seeing what was actually going on, I started to get disturbed over here in Brown YouTube. You know how it goes. It begins to be, and and not YouTube itself. It's a lot of great creators out here. There's a lot of people that really have interesting things to say and really interesting talents, and you should be able to look at these people and be proud of these people and do that. But the problem that I see really centers around these live stream panelists, the proverbial shit stirs of the internet and YouTube. And that's what I'm beginning to see and be disheartened at. I went to a lady's page, and I'm not going to say her name. I'm going to be nice and not say her name. But that's all I heard was a bunch of whining, a bunch of complaining, turned something that could have been good as far as history into, a white guilt session. Well, people want to do this. People, they're keeping us down. Uh, uh, White supremacy and all these things like this, white supremacy, and they're keeping us down, and we're it's because of them, and we got to get rid of white supremacy and all of this other stuff like that. And look, I call myself Mr. Fair and Balanced. That's who I am. I'm Mr. Fair and Balanced. So I can get with you. I can, and I can humor people, and I can level with people, and I can say, look, what was America latent with white supremacy? Was it a point in time, in points in time, where America was a place that just wasn't really tolerant of Black African American people? Whatever you're saying, and then I can say yes. You look at the history. Look at the after 1865, after we're supposed to have been free go, we have, for in all actuality, were put back into a form of soft slavery with, with sharecropping and the Jim Crow South, and not being treated like fair and human individuals. And it's the truth. Yes, we weren't treated quite this. I mean, not quite, but the same at all. We were treated subhuman. But then you had the 14th, the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments come through, and pretty much all of those, civil rights um, amendments passed. It made it taboo to do those things. You couldn't outright do those things to people. And that's where the outward racism kind of turned into, or the overt turned into covert, covert racism. But the thing is, with covert, how are you going to actually prove any of that? It's just like the wage gap. If someone really decided to pay you less because you are a woman, or if you have a woman boss and you are a man, that is highly illegal. So if they're doing that, like a lot of women are saying, if they're doing that, that is highly illegal, and they should go to jail, right? They should go to prison. They should be prosecuted. But how are you going to prove these things? I hear a lot of talk. I hear a lot of talk in these spaces, and it begins to be the same thing that you hear in the conscience community. Conscience. I'm gonna say that word. I butchered it. It's early. It begins to be that same, Hebrew Israelite Hotep thing. That, yeah, the whites do this, the blacks do this, and we're over here, and we're suffering, and all this stuff, and then we end up all the way back to the same road, to where we tell each other, oh, we need to go vote. We need to go vote. And then you ask them, and then you say, okay, we need to go vote. Then what? We need to go vote, right? Then what? Well, who do we vote for? What do we vote for? Oh, well, I don't know. You just need to go vote all blue. We just need to go vote all red. But y'all got it all wrong. Y'all have it all wrong. Y'all have it all wrong. You don't just need voting is not the end all be all. Voting is not the end all be all. You have to make it a point for them to know that if you're not going to treat us right, or you're not going to do the things we want you to do as your constituents, if you're not going to do what we want you to do, then you're not going to eat. You're not going to have money. I mean, long gone should be the days that you continue to vote all down for a person, vote for these people, put them in power, put them in position, and then cross your fingers, and hope that everything works out for you in the long run. So no, that's not it. But what we have is a bunch of people arguing about, well, there isn't any racism anymore, which I can't say that it isn't any racism. As long as human beings are out here doing the stuff that they're doing, we're going to forever have their racism. And as long as people, and not robots, and are not other sentient beings, are in charge of us as humans, there will forever be inequality. Nothing will ever be 50-50. Nothing will ever be, equal outcomes. Nothing will ever be in that nice, warm tofu, let's hold hands and kumbaya each other world. We will never have that kind of world, no matter how much the people, or these people, believe or want to make you believe that you can have. As long as you believe in liberalism and feminism and conservatism, as long as you believe in all these things, the world is going to become, that wonderful place. It's never going to be that. But that's something that these politicians have become fairly good at doing. They become good at pulling at the heartstrings of people, making you believe that we're going to give you everything, and we're going to be the end of world hunger. We're going to be the end of expensive health care. We're going to be the end of everything. As long as you vote for me, I'm going to do all of that stuff, and then you're going to be happy little people, and then you can go over there and live your nice little lives over here while we continue to stay and make millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars, and then you just continue to stay over there, and we're going to continue to give you little crumbs, make you happy, not make you pay a lot of taxes here and there, make you feel like you are included with everybody, make you feel happy, and then we end up looking at each other every 4 to 8 years and wondering where did the time go and what did we actually gain. But then instead of thinking about those things, instead of thinking about what we could actually do to actually build ourselves up, we continue to argue with each other over the existence of white supremacy. The existence of white supremacy. Now, like I said, I am a person that is fair and balanced. I pride myself on being fair and balanced. I pride myself on being able to hear everybody's argument, and that's what I like to hear, and that's what I promote on my channel and in my comment section. As long as you're respectful, I like everybody to tell their side, tell their stories, and give their perspectives on things. But I would be lying to you as a black man in America, because every time I wake up and look in the mirror, I know that I'm a black man. All that I don't see color stuff is BS. But every time I get up and go outside, I do not worry about getting deleted by the police office, by the police or the police department. I don't. That's something that I do not worry about. And that's something that 50 to 60% of the black men in America do not have to think about, because really, if you, no matter how much they try to tell you that you're broke and dusty, if you're making 50, 60, $1,000 a year, that is median income, and most black men are in that median income, and those most of those black men just want to make decent money, to make, have decent lives, and to take care of the people around them. That's what they want to do, and that's what they are doing. But yet we want to focus in on the few things that happen in some of the worst cities that a lot of us live in. We want to complain and say that all of this stuff happened because of white supremacy. And white supremacy very well could have been the catalyst to those things happening. But what now? You're not going to get it. Every year this comes, you're not going to get the reparations. You're not going to get them to do anything. Maybe give you some more, some kind of aid. You might be able to play on their heartstrings. But when you're able, after you're able to eat, and after you're able to put a few toaster strudels in your refrigerator, a few extra ones a month, with those extra amenities or that extra money, then what? That's not going to bring factories back to your neighborhoods. That's not going to bring, decent schools back to your neighborhoods. That's not going to do any of those things. You know, people, we have been put in a position to where complaining actually feels good. You know, it's easy to complain. It's easy to say that the white man is putting you in a position that makes me unable to do the stuff that I want to do. It's easy to say that stuff. What's hard is getting out there and going and scraping up every dime that you can, working 2 or 3 jobs, and then opening up that liquor store, or not liquor store. I hate that, not to be a liquor store, but hey, you guys pay for what you pay for, or that corner store, instead of letting somebody else from out of the country get that corner store and sell you the same things. It's easier to say, well, they're not giving me anything. It's easier for us to say that we're never going to be in a place, because the white supremacist machine just keeps holding us back. But when all those PPP loans came out and all that extra aid came out, you seen hundreds of women go flock and get their BBLs that could have put money together and decided to open up their own store. Look, we're not going to buy from people that don't like us, because we've seen what happens when you go into those hair salons and you get treated like dirt by some of these Asian, hair store owners, But what happens? They end up making a sale. They end up making a having a comeback sale, and all that stuff you talked about not liking this Asian hair store owner. You forget all that. You go back in there, and then you get those bundles, because those bundles are on sale. That's the mentality that needs to be addressed more than white supremacy. White supremacy is not something that we need to really be focused on. And because I tell you this, that's not impacting your lives. You can go out and get a job anytime you want to. Yes, you might run into somebody that doesn't treat you quite right. You might run into a position that is just not right. You're always going to run into those positions that stuff happens to you because we're not owed anything. You know, you don't know how much of a privileged position you're in just to be on this planet Earth. The odds of you just being born are astronomical. Yet you are here. Yet you can forge your own path and you can forge your own destiny. But yet we decide to talk about how white supremacy is keeping us down instead of saying, look, if my Lonnie Johnson made this super soaker, I can add to it. Instead of, and we can do all kind of things. Hey, Nicer, how you doing? How you doing, Nicer? Hold on, guys. What's up, Nicer? How you doing? Good morning. Good morning. It's a snow day. We're just chilling today, Nicer. We're not doing anything too big. Just kind of addressing some of the things I've seen in the last couple of days, which have it's kind of disturbing, you know. We get stuck on, women saying that they worried about black guys, where black guys worried about us dating out, and they're saying all this bad stuff about us, but there's a there's a whole sector of YouTube when women doing the same thing about black men, and what is it really doing? You guys paying attention? This YouTube is a machine. YouTube is a money making machine just like any other, and if they can keep you upset, they can keep you mad, they can keep you bickering at each other. That's just more money. That's just more super chats. That's just more donations. If they can keep two bitter like minded people together, then that's all they're going. That's a money machine. If you take if everything goes away and peace is made, I make this argument too. All this stuff is a part of the economy. You know, drugs is now a part of the economy. Crime is now a part of the economy. They say they made the war on drugs and they want everything to be peaceful. But if let's say like Kevin Samuels say, if you snap your fingers, you Thanos snap, and all the crime went away, if all the drugs went away, where would the correctional officers go? If you did that, where would the correctional officers go? I know. I'll tell you where they go. They'll go right down to the unemployment line, and there'll be another group of people that don't have money. They can't have money. There'll be another group of people that have to go out and rob, steal, and do whatever they can to feed their families because honestly, there's not enough jobs here in America to give everyone. There will always, because the nation was founded off of that free labor, that small labor force, that part of the economy is now gone, but those people that filled those positions are forever here. The amount of poor people are still here. The amount of people that the rich people in the black community is still the same. So you guys got to pay attention to this. We're not going to go out and fight crime, fight this invisible uh white supremacist machine when it's not. You're not ready to fight that machine. To fight that machine would mean that you would have to completely detach yourself from this economic structure, completely detach yourself from it. Sometimes you might have to fight because people, you won't have the resources. How many of you guys put your kids in martial arts classes? How many of people put your kids in boxing classes? How many of you teach your kids how to hunt? How many of you guys teach your kids how to fish? I guarantee you don't, because a lot of times, even with me growing up, that was all country boy stuff, right? They don't want it. You didn't want to teach your kids how to hunt. You didn't want to teach your kids how to fish because why? We don't want to teach your kids this country stuff because we want you guys to go to school, get your psychology degrees, get your master's degrees in women's studies, and then make something out of yourself. But all the smart people, all the good old boys, even around where I'm at, because I am in the middle America, they send their kids and they know the value of working with your hands. They know the value of hunting and fishing. There's a big trade school up at the Lake of the Ozarks, where it's like a gigantic college campus. And they send their kids to these places because they know that that's where the money is. The money is working with your hands. The money is being in carpentry. The money is in being able to build, being able to being able to tile, being able to roof, being able to do all of these things to keep money flowing. There's no the money. Okay, their money is there in psychology. The money is there in psychology for the moment, but just like those soft jobs can be taken at any time. Let me see what this says. What's up, Nicer? James Baldwin said there's only two kinds of men in prison: the man in prison and the man keeping him there. Thoughts? Yeah, just not yeah, Nicer. We can talk about that. But there are two kind of men. They're not horrible men. There is a group. There's a subsector of people that are crazy. That have mental conditions that really don't need to be on the street. Those people, if you pay attention, those people were in mental institutions, but those are closing all across America because America, they can't fund them like they used to fund them because America is essentially a free market and there's no market in keeping those people in those kind of places. So of course they go into these other for-profit institutions like prisons. Put that up there, back up there again. Yep, yep. And I'm glad I'm going to expound on that a little bit too because like I said before, there isn't a overt racism anymore. We don't have to go outside and worry about crosses being burnt in the front yard. We don't have to worry about that on a regular basis. Are there times that where we get profiled? I believe so. I get stopped all the time where others I don't believe get stopped. I get upset for a little bit and then I'm right back on my way. It happens. But Jared Taylor. Let's talk about Jared Taylor. He's one of these people that if I talk about overt and covert racism, Jared Taylor, if you look up Jared Taylor, you'll understand. I think he runs the Poverty Law Center down south somewhere, but he is a mastermind of these things. He is I guess you say, a self-proclaimed white supremacist. Does he go out trying to kill and say all these, say back, say do things to black people where black people are thinking that are acting like is happening? No, he doesn't. What he goes to do, because these people are very smart. If you pay attention, I've actually watched documentaries on it where scientists know the exact day. They can go, won't say the exact day, but they can go within the 10 years or so and know when the white population will no longer be the majority in America. So these very academically strong and academically wise people know that this is going to happen. They don't talk about it much, but they know it's going to happen. Just like the census. That's why they continue to take the census. That's why they continue to want to know how much of what people is here, because they can count it. They know. So they don't want. Who wants the power to leave? Who wants the power to leave their hands? Nobody wants the power to leave their hands. So of course they're going to make things make things in a way that the power does not leave the dominant society. You know, and that's the things we need to look for. Just voting all down one side of the box on a ballot isn't going to change what these people are doing, because that person, Jared Taylor, can go lobby to these people that might not feel like he feels, but he can whisper in the ears of people that we can't whisper to. While we sit here and argue about overt racism and white supremacy, how it affects us, and we're not coming and really trying to carve out our own economic paths with each other. We could say all this stuff, but will you really hire me to do something for you? Or if I was doing a roof, or would somebody hire you that no, we sit here and argue about what other people are doing to us, but then we won't turn around and help each other out. We won't turn around and decide, I'm not going to spend my money over here at this big box store. I'm going to spend my money with Nicer over here. But Nicer store might not look like, the big box store, but I believe in building with people I know, with the people I trust, that I say I trust. We don't do that. We'll sit here all day and argue about, who we want to date. We'll sit here and argue all day about the wigs that these women are trying to wear. We sit here all day and argue about, she didn't like me in high school, or I don't have that jawline, or she doesn't like me. And then when I get into a point, or when they can get to a point where they can lash out, you lash out and then create more issues than what we had in the first place. So it's this, it's disturbing. You see a lot of men, SYSBM men, saying that they don't like black women, but yet every day they're talking about the problems or the things that's wrong with black women. And if you don't like black women, cool. If you don't like black men, cool. But why would you go to a spot, to a watering hole filled with bitter people, and then talk down on the very people that you say and claim that you don't even care about? It's crazy to me. It's insane. It's insane. But yes, I tell you all the time, if you haven't went and looked up Jared Taylor, Richard Spencer, don't worry about Richard Spencer. Richard Spencer is a tool, but you go look at Jared Taylor and the things how he operates. I think he has like either a master's or a PhD from some school over in France, and then one degree over here. And then you begin to see how things move in the background. Yeah, we can argue all day about it existing, but what are you really doing? What are you going to do your research like I'm telling you? Are you going to decide to say, hey, let's get together and decide to do something different? Let's make our own party and decide what we want. And if we don't get these things, we're not going to vote. Just like Killer Mike said, we're going to sit at home and knit and make collard greens if you're not going to give the stuff that we demand you get. And that's just going to be how it is. We're not going to sit up and argue with each other about, oh, we should go vote any. No, we're not going to do that. We all decided that we're not going to vote for this person. This person doesn't mean us any good. He doesn't care. They only came, or she only came around when it's time to vote, and then she only showed us that she knows how to put hot sauce on her chicken, or she knows how to do the electric slide, and okay, she's one of us now. That stuff needs to stop. I don't care how much your big mama said that you needed to vote all Democrat. I don't care how much your big mama said you need to vote all Republican. Start paying attention. Start paying attention how this stuff goes. I believe wholeheartedly that self-sufficiency on all levels is a key to getting us out of these issues that we're in. You can't get away from not working for someone else or another race, because we just don't have the means not to do it. So you're gonna have to, but you can build on the back end. We spend so much money on other things that don't make sense, but you turn around and say you don't have the time to invest and try to make moves some other kind of way. They don't need to be gigantic moves. They can be small moves. They can be smaller moves, and it'll happen. You'll make it happen. Just focus. I say it like that, like my other live stream. Focus. Don't get caught up. It's easy to get caught up in these panels here in the YouTube streets. I refuse to do it. I refuse to do it. I'm not doing it. I think about going up every once in a while. I hear some stuff that I really don't like and agree with, and then I want to go. But nope, I'm not going to do it. You're not going to gaslight me. Have some stuff you say to me, end up cussing me out and kicking me off your live stream and making me look crazy. I'm not doing it. And for any guy or woman that feels like they need to go up there and fight against some of these people, nope, don't do it. Don't do it at all. Don't get stuck. So what are your plans? What do y'all got plans to do? You got any goals that you want to fix? You got anything that you want to get done? Like I learn some new things about Black history. I continue to say that. There's some guys out here and women alike to believe that there's nothing else, good about Black history. I'm never going to tell you to not do, or not learn anything from Black history or anything that you can expand your mind. There's always time to expand yourself. Stop getting on these tabloid sites. What do you got up here, nicer? You said you was watching, say, Yuck Mouth last night. A woman was arguing with a guest on the show, and Yuck Mouth shut that down. Shouted out the manosphere. That was cool to witness. Kuda, Kuda was right. Hey, for real, Kuda does right. I shout Kuda out all the time, man. People don't pay attention. People don't pay attention. They don't want to pay attention until something happens. I was watching Bernard Riley, nicer. I was watching Bernard Riley after Tommy Sotomayor went at uh TVA. I made a video on that too. Tyler, he went against TVA, and I guess TVA paid him all that money to come talk to him, but it got, how it is when you can't mess around with Tommy like that. They got into that big old argument, and then when he was talking to Menard, he said that a bunch of Manosphere dudes was attacking him, and Bernard said that those aren't Manosphere. And just like I heard Kuda say since I first saw Kuda, that the Manosphere has no representation. The Manosphere has no representation. It has no branding. It has no marketing. It's just, you don't know who is the enemy and you don't know who is not the enemy. And anybody could say anything crazy. Anybody could say anything crazy and then label themselves as a manosphere. And then what can you do? Because you have no way to prove that it wasn't a manosphere person that did it. I said the same thing. I said the same thing in his chat that day. I said, y'all need branding. Everybody in there needs a banner or a flag if you are inducting them into the manosphere that says, this person is legit manosphere, because that's a small incident. But what happens when somebody says something like so egregious, or somebody says something that is like damn near ready to have them damn near ready to shut the manosphere down, and then what can they do to say, or to hold themselves apart or pull themselves apart from that person that they said was manosphere, or said that they were branding themselves as manosphere? Nothing. You're stuck. And you're stuck. And I've said that, and I know Kuda continues to say that, but nobody ever listens to a person unless it's their idea. And it's sad that people won't listen. It's sad that they won't. It's sad that we want to sit here and wait till stuff like that happens. But what can you do? What can you do? You know what's going to happen. Somebody's going to say something or do something, and the people in the manosphere just going to be stuck because they're not going to have any way to answer. They're not going to have any way to answer against that. But yeah, people like that, nicer, like people that really got their heads on their shoulders. Yeah, stay around cool people. Stay around cool people. But some of these people, what I was listening to, is crazy. They're crazy, and I don't have time for it. What you say, nicer? I remember arsonist fiasco back. It's a bad look when someone claims to be a representative, but they really just goofy. Yeah. People. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing stopping anybody for coming through the manosphere or coming through Black YouTube at all and making us look bad. And they look. And this is what I continue to say to these people that don't think that other people are watching what they say. They're watching what you say. You don't think they're watching what you say, but there's people watching and waiting for you to say the wrong thing to shut you down. The wrong thing. It happened to Lapeef. Lapeef doesn't have too bad of an audience around to put. Lapeef doesn't keep too much stuff up, but you would see how they were able to pop in there and do what they did to them, and they, luckily they got their channel back. But does YouTube really have something against getting your channel back? Is there something stopping them from giving your channel back if they don't want to? If they don't want to give you your stuff back, or they want to shut you down, they'll shut you down. And people need to realize that they are hearing you say what you say. I said one thing to some ladies, and they call me all kind of stuff. And I was just trying to, make some conversation in some of those chat rooms and some of the down in the the section down there, the comment section, and I got called all kind of stuff. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, what if I really did say something, you know, crazy wrong to you? It'd have been World War III in there, you know, no, yeah, this, in this job, it's just not. It's people that really talk about the manosphere and worse. I heard some of the most racist stuff on there on some of these women channel, and like I couldn't even be mad at somebody if they did say something to them or if they did try to flag them. But what can you tell some of these people? Yeah, exactly. Nicer. Who hurt you? Who hurt you? Not who hurt you? It's crazy. And I'm like, what do y'all have to gain? What do y'all have to gain from doing that? When everybody claims to be so educated. Everybody claims to be, so much above stuff, but man, it's like every other word is, F you this, F this. And you think you're gonna really get somewhere, and in all actuality, it's sad, because yeah, I hate telling people who hurt you because I feel like it's dismissive. But in some instances, you can't help but to think and see, like, man, yeah, somebody did something to you in life, and you done bought this $200 microphone, $50 microphone, and said you finna tear some stuff up. You finna tear it up, and you finna go out in a blaze. But hey, it almost is what it is. You just have to keep your head clear. You nicer. You need to stay. Don't get involved in a lot of that stuff. I'll leave a panel real quick if I if I feel like it's going. I won't even say bye. I just leave. I just drop off. Because ain't nobody got time for that. Nobody got time for all this argument and all this crazy stuff like that. Because in the end, some of these people get off on arguing. It don't make sense to go up there and argue with a person that's just a professional arguer. It doesn't make sense. I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it at all. So how your music going? Nice. So you doing any projects going on? You got anything big for us to look out for? Yep, I'm gonna go. I've been telling you, need to get up. You need to start getting on here. Start making you some shorts. So start making you some pre-records because everybody waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see. I've been like, where Nicer at? Get on there. Get on there and do them pre-records. Get on there and do those shorts. Show people what you got. You're gonna build that audience. You're gonna build that audience because you're a genuine person, and we need more genuine people out here. So hey, we waiting. We waiting. I'm gonna continue to bother you too. I'm gonna continue to every time I see you, be like, Nicer, where them post at, where them where them pre-records. What you say? I believe genuine concern is always recognizable, present with good opportunity for meaningful discussion about. Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. You can always tell when somebody really wants. You really want to people to grow around you. You really want change. You really want change, and you really want to see people do good, and then you just see them people that are upset and want to argue and want things to just be negative. You know what I'm saying? And it's cool if you want to argue, or you want to have a debate. I won't say argue, but have a real debate. But what's the after a while? What's the point? What's the point? It's cool to talk about these little pop topics and all that stuff, but when it comes to those big things that's going to impact you or affect you, how long are you going to argue about that stuff? You know, I think it's sad. It's just like all them weave robberies and stuff like that. And it's funny and it's fun to talk about, but I seen some babies in some of them situations, and I'm like, wow, it's horrible. And we could talk about that, but nobody wants to talk about about the kids. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to talk about how much that stuff affects these kids. These kids gonna grow up and do the same thing over and over and over again. and what's stopping somebody from doing something different? That's something else. Before I forget and before I get out of here, that's something else I forget. But just because we end up in a poor environment and a poor situation does not mean we have to hold ourselves in the same fashion as the next person down the street. You can hold your head up high. You can walk around clean. You can make yourself stand out. You can make yourself stand apart. There's no reason for you to have to fall in line or fall along with the people that are doing things that's going to make them end up in worse situations that you're already born into. You don't have to go down those roads. You don't have to just feed into that stereotype. You can be better. You can go above and beyond your situation. Just because I live in the hood does not mean I have to throw my trash on the outside of the trash can or outside of the dumpster. I know we all seen it nicer. I know you've seen it, and other people around is going to say the same thing. Why is it that just because I'm poor, I have to act as such, or I have to act as less than? Because that just gives people a reason to say, well, if you think you are less than, if you think you are less than human, or you think you're less than me, I'm going to have an easier time treating you like you're less than. If I hold my head high, which is the difference between the people in the 50s and 60s and us now, it's because even though we knew we didn't have everything, we never held our heads in the point in the fashion of which we thought or looked like we were less than. There were people on food stamps and people doing all kind of stuff back then, but we still had a pride about ourselves. And that's something that you don't need money for. That's something that you don't need. Taking care of yourself, taking care of your surroundings does not cost money. It costs money to have, big houses. It costs money to have big cars. It costs extra money to do all this. But just like back in the 80s and back in the day where people couldn't afford cars, but they made low riders. They made everything they could do to make themselves stand out and look nice. Just because I didn't have all the money to go buy a brand new car doesn't mean I couldn't put my head together or put our heads together and make something beautiful, out of nothing. And that's what we've kind of lost. That we kind of lost it. It just went from that pride and wanting to be better into just like saying screw it, we just gonna go for broke. And that's what we need to go back to, man. We can't go back in time, but we can change the way we our mentality. We can change the way we look at things, and that will ultimately change on a micro and a macro level, because that would ultimately change your trajectory. People just don't know how much waking up and having a positive outlook and having a positive mind could change their whole outcome in life. Somebody could see you on a day that you just excuse me, look like you don't care, and look like you don't care about anything, but was willing to give you a chance, and you turn around and they meet you in a point to where you're up and you're ready and you're vibrant and you're ready to go, and you get a job to where you never really would have even thought could get this job. But now I'm able to get this job because they seen something in me that I didn't even see in myself, just because of the way I held myself. And we need more of that. We need more of that. Let me see. You said you just put up a let's say you just put up a free beat last night. Okay, I'm gonna go listen to it. I'm gonna go listen to it. I'm working to find my voice right now, but I'm back. I'm getting back into the beat making. Hey, nicer. You always. I mean, I understand you trying to find your voice. I'm not good at this stuff either. I'm not good at this stuff. I'm not a natural. I don't like getting up in front of the camera, and I'm right there with you. So if you ever wanna talk or get on one of these streams or anything like that, let me know. There's because a lot of us don't have. I mean, people say all the time that you can getting these courses and stuff like that, and and do all this stuff, but but a lot of us don't got time and got money to do that. I'm not gonna, maybe one day I'll pay a course to speak more eloquently. That might come, but right now we are in the information age. We got all this technology in our pockets, on our in our laptops, and we got supercomputers in our pockets, and we have the power to do a lot of things. People don't understand that this is media. We have the power to be our own media outlets. and we also have the power to be, learn and do everything we want to do that anybody else can do now, because that's just the position that technology has put us in. So don't, continue to do what you want to do, but let you know that, you always got a friend at the den. Aaron EBM will always be here. And if you ever want to get up or get on one of these panels and just talk or get whatever you got out or ideas or anything like that, this is a space where I ain't playing no mess, and you can have a place here, and tell anybody else that they want to come chill out, they can do it too. So I'm gonna get out of here nicer. I'm gonna go chill with the family, enjoy the rest of my snow day. I appreciated you guys. Remember what I said, focus. Stay up out of these crazy ass chat rooms. Stay away from these panels that don't mean you any good. You're wasting your energy. Let's focus on getting better in 2020, 2022, and let's do more. All right, nicer. Everybody else out there, peace. I'll see you guys later. Pay attention. Go to Nicer's channel. Make sure you go to Nicer's channel, and make sure you go here. You can go to my channel, Aaron EBM. Let's make some stuff happen in 2022. Now I'm out. See y'all later.